On the agenda tonight, we're going to be analysing your sense of pitch. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this video is going to be addressing a question that I get sent quite a lot on my website, in the YouTube comments section, as well as over on Patreon, regarding singing, hitting pitches, people that either struggle hitting particular pitches when they're singing, or people who want to be able to sing and they feel like they don't know where the notes are and they don't know where to start. So we're going to be addressing that in tonight's video, as well as just exploring the concept of being tone deaf and whether you guys at home watching this now are tone deaf or not. So as this is going to be somewhat of an interactive video, I suggest that if you have got an Android phone or an Android tablet, head over to the Google Play Store and download the Vocal Pitch Monitor app, which is free, and I use that in my analysis videos, so you will recognize it. And through the wonders of technology, I have a Google Play Store open on my phone, and this isn't a sponsored video, by the way. It's a free app, and that's the reason that I use it, because it's really accurate at depicting pitch on a graph, but it means that everyone can use it at home rather than promoting something that's going to cost you money. Anyway, I'm in the Google Play Store. I'm going to show this on the screen next to me so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to click at the top of the search and click on Vocal Pitch Monitor. I'm not going to type it in just to save time for this video, and you'll see that there's Vocal Pitch Monitor, the third one down in my list, and it's Tadao Yamoka, and it says installed. I can press on that and you'll be able to see in the picture the yellow lines, the pitch graph that we have in those analysis videos. So that is what you want to download. On my phone, I've opened up the pitch monitoring software and it's just running in the background. But what I'm going to do is show it to you guys on screen while I'm talking, so you get a bit of an appreciation of what happens when we talk, because it's a really important concept, I think, to understand about singing and talking and just making noise in general, that we're always hitting notes, even though you might not be aware that you're hitting notes. So the graph at the moment is showing you all of the pitches that I'm hitting when I'm talking. And because I do tend to change pitch quite a lot when I talk, they'll be going up and down all over the place. But if I was now going to approach this as a note hitting exercise, or just maintaining a note, this is something that you can try at home. The first exercise, as I've mentioned on this channel before, is trying to speak like a robot. And you'll notice that on the pitch monitoring software, the Vocal Pitch Monitor app, the lines will start to change rather than being random. If I talk like a robot and try and keep this exactly the same place, you'll start to see on the Vocal Pitch Monitor we're now getting a line. It's more constricted within the lines, so I'm hitting a very particular pitch and just keeping it there. Now, because during all of that I was talking, all of the words that I'm saying is adjusting the pitch ever so slightly. So if you go from talking like a robot like this and then pretend that the robot has just been hurt and he says, ow, you'll start to see that was now more of a straight line. And we can look at it, and I just happen to be hitting a D3, but it doesn't matter which notes you're hitting. And that's the point, that I can look at it and now I can see which note I was hitting when I was talking like a robot. So when you apply that principle to singing, when you go and then apply a singing technique such as vibrato, all I've done is take a robot's voice and applied vibrato, which is something that you can train your voice to do, and it takes practice. But if I'm looking at my phone and going you can see how I'm now getting these waves that are even, and these even lines are going directly over the D3. If we are slightly disappointed or sad, you can already hear it in my voice when I'm simulating being a bit disappointed, a bit down. I might even go as low as vocal fry, like that, because it's unbelievable. My pitch down here, I say down here, this is where we naturally go. People might not be able to appreciate that going down here is a lower note. They might not hear it as down there. They just hear it as a certain type of expression. Whereas if I started to pretend to see something that was an amazing thing, and I'd say, oh, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. You'll see how on the pitch monitoring software, vocal pitch monitor, I've gone up on the lines. That is unbelievable. Oh, I'm really disappointed. And now the lines are going to be a lot lower. So going from I'm going through that range just while talking. So you can do this on your app and see when you talk in a disappointed way how low your voice is, and then do something that, pretend that you're excited. You have to do a bit of acting, but you'll be able to see how the line changes. So you can then appreciate that, okay, I'm talking in different pitches. The first thing to say about being tone deaf is that it's basically a way to describe someone that has no sense of being able to determine pitch or hear the difference in pitch, or even the intervals of pitch when we're talking about music. But to me, music's a language, and it's almost putting it as a finite term or something that's absolute. So that when you say, oh, I'm tone deaf, it's like, oh, I can't do music, I'm tone deaf, or too tone deaf. But whether there are different degrees of it, that's what we're exploring. So if we're saying that music is a language, as I believe it is, being tone deaf and not being able to sing, or somebody saying that they can't sing because they're tone deaf, is like saying, I can't speak French because I can't speak French. But then you'd say, well, have you tried to speak French? Have you tried to learn how to speak French? And they'll say, no point, I can't speak French. It's just something that I can't do. But they've never tried any way of getting to speaking the language. So by saying that you're tone deaf and therefore you can't speak the language of music and everyone gives up because they've been told they're tone deaf, I think that there are so many different levels of perception of music and sound that people that give up straight away are really missing out, because they might end up having a great voice or being a great instrumentalist. They just haven't attempted to speak the language. They've just accepted, oh, I can't do it because I can't do it. Whereas if you accept that, then we literally can't do anything that we can't do. So what's the point in even trying to learn anything or being alive in the first place? So with these steps of having the vocal pitch monitor, you'll be able to see pitch, and from there, that is now dissecting the information in a different way so that you've got something visual as a representation of pitch. So no longer is it just in the air and you can't really hear what's higher or lower. You can see what's higher and lower. So the great thing about this is that with the app, you can just experiment with doing different things with your voice, even just bits of expression that you would normally do. Like, if somebody holds up a handbag because they're offended and you go, ooh, look at the pitch monitoring software, and you can see it next to me. You'll be able to see that the line went, ooh, it kind of went up and then it went further down than where we started. So we're now hearing and seeing pitch at the same time. So if you're still doing the robot exercise, which was quite a while ago, but it's a great one to keep doing, keep talking at the same pitch and then try to bring it down a bit, and then get a bit of an appreciation by looking at the vocal pitch monitor as to where your voice is. Maybe then go back up to where we started. Maybe then go even a little bit higher if you can get a little bit higher than when we first started, but keep it the same like you're a robot. You'll start to see these notes. And I think that actually doing this, it might eliminate being tone deaf, because you can literally see in front of you notes. And that's the point of being tone deaf, to do with the definition of it, is that you've got no sense of anything pitch-wise, but we've now got a sense of it visually. So we've no longer not got a sense of pitch. We have now gained a sense of pitch. If we can get a sense of pitch by looking at something, and we know that this song starts on a particular note, on the left-hand side of the vocal pitch monitor, we've got all the notes. So let me have a look at my phone. Say, for example, let's aim for a D4. So you can see what I did there was literally take where I was talking up, and I'm trying to get the line on the D4. Again, it's going to be a great exercise for maintenance of pitch, so that once you hit a note, being able to hold it as closely to that line as possible. Don't worry if your voice is kind of going either side of the line, because we know that great singers are really close to these lines. So you can, and we can, objectively say that if you can get close to these lines, then you will be perceived as sounding good, which is great. It means that you don't have to really worry about, your sense of pitch or being tone deaf, because you can look at it and think, right, that note that I was aiming for, I'm now hitting. So let's try some other notes. So as you start to become better at maintaining pitch, talking like a robot, you can then start to do exercises such as, singing scales would be a little bit advanced because there's lots of notes in there. I would say to begin with, just try and hit one note and then try and hit the note above it or the note below it. Now, on the Vocal Pitch Monitor app, I'm going to press on the three lines at the bottom right of the screen, go to Settings, and I'm going to turn the horizontal zooming up all the way to 2. So now when we go back, you can see that we've zoomed in horizontally, which means we're seeing things in more detail. So if I'm going, so I'm singing a C sharp 4 there. So if I'm going, trying to keep that line, as accurate as possible, you start to then be able to repeat what you just did, going, and of course, when you're not looking at it, you're not going to be able to adjust it as you go. But this is the point, that when you're singing, you're not going to be holding up an app. This is to train being able to hear pitch. It's just repetition, and it's muscle memory for your vocal cords and the musculature around your vocal cords, so that they can snap to the same positions because you've practiced doing it. It's like speaking a language. You've got to learn the words of the language. You've got to learn how to pronounce the words. And once you start doing that, you remember it. It's the muscle memory of your voice, is remembering how to pronounce all of the words that I'm saying now. I am saying them without even thinking because it's subconscious, but at some point I've learned to do this. When I was a kid, copying my parents talking, I've learned to talk, and I've learned to do all of these movements to get all of the right vowels and consonants in order to make words. And only when you look at it with hindsight, you think, wow, this is quite impressive that I'm saying everything instantly that I'm thinking of, and I'm not thinking about the technique I'm using to do it. Exactly the same with singing. Once you get used to it, you keep on doing it, you'll be able to start singing these notes without having to look at anything, because you have the muscle memory. And then you can start just enjoying singing and just getting better at it, getting more accurate, and singing the songs that you want to be able to sing, working on techniques such as vibrato and sliding between notes. So yes, as for being tone deaf, I think it's something that, if anything, might put people off singing or attempting to do something, but I don't think it really exists once you start breaking things down. So a bit of a different video for tonight, but it does serve the purpose of answering a couple of questions that I get asked quite a lot. And I think it's great to have a bit of fun with your own voice and analyze your own voice. You know, get the vocal pitch monitor, make stupid noises, you know, go, oh, ah, just do anything. And the screen, the app will show you that information as something that you can take in visually. Is now quantifiable. So whereas before, you know, it's just sound and you might not be able to decipher what it is, but now you can by looking at the app. And yeah, if you want to get into singing, if you want to try and start holding notes, adding vibrato, start saying words at the same time as holding notes, then I think is a great start to get an appreciation of pitch. And I learned to sing from scratch as well. My dad used to say that I was tone deaf. So I do believe that playing the guitar and just listening to notes consistently, regularly, just practicing the language, you can get better at it. But thank you guys for watching this video, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have ever been referred to as tone deaf, or whether you struggle hitting notes or not, it'll be interesting to find out. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!